For the first time right now on the desk. I have never witnessed something like that.
Former United States women's national team player Carli Lloyd hated what she saw post-match from her team. In the past, as many have reported, Lloyd has sparred with team leader Megan Rapinoe.
There's a difference between being respectful of the fans and saying hello to your family, but to be dancing, to be smiling. I mean, the player of the match was that post. You were lucky to not be going home right now.
Through all this, she found an ally.
Stand, I'm going to put my hand over my heart, and I am going to sing. And I believe that all U.S. national team players should be required to do that, because just because we live in the land of the free doesn't mean that we are free to do anything that we want.
Alexi Lawless, former U.S. men's national team player and longtime soccer analyst for ESPN and Fox Sports, though ex-teammates of Lloyd's publicly rebuked her.
They're allowed to smile. They're allowed to enjoy the moment. They're allowed to be happy that they made it into the 16 with a tie. Yeah, that's not something we love to celebrate because we're not used to that.
Like Ali Krieger.
Carli Lloyd made history, but this team needs us to get behind them.
And Heather O'Reilly. Lloyd would try to clear the air.
My comments were reflective on me wanting to see that legacy continue to be passed down from generation to generation.
And Lawless stepped in as well.
And look, not everybody is wired like Carli Lloyd. And by the way, you were wonderful yesterday.
The issue is, these idiots that I'm about to show you took it and completely ran.
But it seems this team is consumed with everything else away from the field. That this soccer team, this U.S. women's soccer team, has become very much like the WNBA league.
Redundancy at the end there, pal. Good stuff.
They go out of their way to worry about off-the-field stuff, what they're wearing, their blue hair, how woke they are, making sure they show the world that they don't respect our country.
Or like this guy who just comes out and says it.
She's been one of the people who has been, proud of her country and proud to be an American and doesn't support a lot of the bull that's been going on. And of course, the mainstream media loves the fact that the U.S. women's national team hates America.
And then this Breitbart-loving doofus adding on, they are pawns in the right-wing ecosphere.
This isn't the first time Lloyd has criticized her former team, saying last year players are too focused on building their brands and not winning.
I don't agree with that because I think as women, we can multitask, right? We can make our money. We can play at the highest level. We can, win championships all at the same time. I don't think we would be saying that about any of the men.
As Dave Zirin would put it, maybe they should be like Lloyd wants them to be, sneering at fans to show the armchair soccer experts just how much they want it. Or maybe this is just Lloyd taking the worst from men's sports, the idea that if you're not a winner, you are by definition a loser, and grafting it onto the women's game. She would say on Alexi Lawless's podcast, State of the Union, what we had in the last several years was not a good culture. The mentality changed and it became toxic. Calling this team, your former team, toxic after it won 2 consecutive World Cups makes no sense, writes Zirin. This is a team that stood in solidarity with each other and won a historic victory for equal pay, hardly the actions of people obsessed with their brand. This is the team that turned Lloyd into a star, and she did not turn down the endorsement offers that rolled her way for fear that they would distract her. And as for the experience of being on this team, Lloyd said on a different pod, even within our squad, the culture has changed. To be quite honest, I hated it. Lloyd's criticism of these recent matches are warranted, but her comments feel like a cover for a much deeper rift. One that's not only personal but political. At the Tokyo Games, Lloyd became the only player who refused to kneel to protest racism before the medal match against Australia. She wanted to shut up and play culture on the team, but she lost the leadership battle to Megan Rapinoe. It was Rapinoe who made international waves in 2016 by being the first to kneel during the anthem, then in solidarity with Colin Kaepernick's efforts to raise awareness about racist police violence. It is Rapinoe and everything she represents in terms of this team's culture that Lloyd wants to tear down. It's reactionary. The team's struggles feel like just the chance that Lloyd has been waiting to crow about. If Lloyd wants to fit in on Fox and be a right-wing scold, that's her biz. But we should reject the idea that caring about and connecting with fans is somehow a distraction from winning. Maybe the United States women's national team will win this World Cup. Maybe they won't. But it won't be because this team was too nice to their fans. What a repellent thought. Talk about toxic.